Hi, I'm Barb Culver, the president of Resonate Inc. Thanks for joining me today for this brief YouTube presentation. Many of you have been expressing concerns to us about the incredibly high cost of college today. So the topic for today's presentation is conquering college costs. So other than encouraging their children or grandchildren to get extraordinarily high grades, or investing in them to hopefully become great athletes so that they can qualify for scholarships, what are families doing to prepare for college costs today? And how do people successfully master the completion of the form that's called the FASFA, which stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid? I'll answer these and other significant questions in this presentation today. First of all, I think it's important for you to know that there's a rule of thumb which compares college tuition rates with the general inflation rate. And it goes like this. Tuition rates will increase at about twice the general inflation rate. So I checked this out. And I went back and found a study done by the financialaid.com which tracked 17-year periods of time from 1958 through 2001. And during that time, the average general tuition inflation rates ranged from between 6% to 9% per year. This just happens to be somewhere between 1.5 and 2 times the general inflation rate. Now, more recently, according to Fox Business and the Schwab Center for Financial Research, college costs have been rising about 6% per year. So if we use that figure and assume that college costs are going to continue to rise at about 6% per year, this suggests that in 18 years, the price tag for an in-state public university for 4 years will be just over $300,000. So if you or somebody in your family or somebody you know has just had a baby and they're planning for that child to go to college, they're going to need $300,000 to be able to go to an in-state public school, which of course is the least expensive option available. A private school will cost almost double that, $592,000. So this increase in costs assumes that tuition, fees, books, room and board, and other expenses will maintain this 6% historic rate of inflation increase. So, using the premise that it's better to save today than to pay off student loans tomorrow, here are some tips for tackling college costs. First of all, start early. Let the magic of compound growth work for you. Remember the rule of 72. Earning a 7.2 total return on average each year means that money will double every 10 years. So how possible is that, or how likely is that to happen? Well, according to Morningstar, the S&P 500 has averaged 7.13% per year for the last 10 years. And remember, the last 10 years includes 07, 08, and 09, which all experienced a great deal of difficulty in terms of the returns that they provided. So, earning 7% over the long term does seem doable. That's why it's essential to start early. Investments such as stocks require longer-term holding periods to be considered a suitable investment. Second of all, use tax-advantaged strategies. If possible, blend the opportunity for compound growth, just discussed, with tax tax-free environments. A Section 529 plan does exactly this. They make ideal vehicles in which to actually save funds for college. While the 529 plans, when the money in a 529 plan is actually used for college, they offer the opportunity for tax-free withdrawals on top of tax-deferred growth. That's correct. It's possible to use tax-free money from a Section 529 plan when used for expenses for post-high school education. 529 plans are something we'd love to have the opportunity to talk with you about funding. Now, while it's obviously preferable to pay for college outright, we're perfectly aware that this is not the reality for everyone. So here are some additional tips on how to master the completion of the FAFSA, that free application for federal student aid form. First of all, be sure to get the correct form. There are actually 2 versions of the questionnaire which are available much of the year. Be sure to choose carefully and get the form whose years match the time for which you're applying. Next, be sure to complete all forms using legal names. For example, if the student's name is Catherine, but she goes by Katie, use Catherine on the form. As a rule of thumb, follow what's on the Social Security card or driver's license. Number 3, be sure to list all schools in which you're interested, even if that totals more than the 10 that are allowed for on the FAFSA form. Any schools over the 10 which are allowed can be added after you receive what's called the SAR, which stands for the Student Aid Report. Be sure to state that you are interested in work-study programs. Now, believe it or not, this question is often missed. The question is, what is the size of your household? The reason the question is missed is because people often don't realize that whether or not they actually live under your roof, you can count anyone for whom you provide over 50% of their living expenses as a person to list as a member of your household. So, remember stepkids, or maybe even your own kids who may not live with you. Also, if you're expecting a new baby before the end of the award year, you can count the unborn child as well. And finally, here's where significant planning opportunities exist which can help qualify you for money from the federal student aid. Do not report any of the following. Home equity. Now please understand, if you have rental property, that you must include rental property equity, but not the equity in your actual residence. Do not report the balance in your 401k plan or your IRAs. You also do not have to include the balance in annuities which qualify, nor do you have to report cash value in life insurance policies. So these are the ideas that create opportunities to plan strategically before you complete the FASFA form so that you can qualify for as much aid as possible. Like most things in life today, college planning is also a very complex area. We'd be more than happy to have a complimentary meeting with you to be sure that you are taking advantage of all of the options and strategies, tools and techniques that are available for you to maximize your success in conquering college costs. Thanks again for joining me today.